So in this video, I want to introduce you to the DALRC Rocket. This is a 45 amp ESC. It's a 4-in-1. And I want to go over some of the tech specs, and I also want to go over just why I decided this one over all the others. So inside of the packaging, they provide us with a small instruction sheet, a 35 volt 560 microfarad capacitor, a 7-wire pin Molex, and the 4-in-1 PDB ESC. Now this is a 45 amp ESC. They built it on a 8-layer PC board. It's set up very similar to other 4-in-1s. We've got the motor pads broken out on the right and left. And we've got our usual battery leads in. They did drill holes on the battery pads for the supplied capacitor. It's just a little interesting how they drilled them right towards the edge of the pad here, as opposed to a lot of other manufacturers will drill them here or not at all. So that's something you're going to be wanting to be aware of as you're putting your battery leads on. You may end up covering over these holes. So the process is you might have to put the capacitor in and do the wires all at the same time. I'm going to do something a little bit differently. I have a new product that came out that I'm going to put on the capacitor, which is actually going to give me some solder pads, and then I can run a separate wire. And if I have that video done, I'll put the link right there. So this is a 3 to 6S PDB. This thing's a monster. It's a 45 amp, and this is the small one. They have a 50 or a 55 amp as well. So yeah, if this isn't big enough for you, you can always jump up. This is going to be plenty ample for what we're going to do. I think I'm going to run this build on a 4S, but between the flight controller and the PDB, it might be a success. I don't know. But anyway, what separates this 4-in-1 ESC from a lot of the other ones on the market is right up top here. As you can see, they have broken out pin headers for all your signal wires. They did a really good job of labeling these. As you can see, you get your ground, your VCC, your current, and motor 1 through 4. So your ground wire obviously is your ground. That's going to go to your flight controller. You've got your VCC, which is going to power your flight controller. You've got your current, so your flight controller can read that if you want current numbers in your OSD. And then your 4 motor 1 through 4. And if you don't like really tiny soldering, you still have the option of the 7-pin connector. This is a SH 1.0. It's like a JST connector. And the supplied cable is all set. We've got black wire for our ground, red wire for our power, blue wire for our current telemetry. So all in all, it's a nice little ESC combo. And this right here is the single reason why I went with this one over every single other one on the market. I do not trust these pin headers at all. I've had nothing but trouble with them. I really feel that mini quads as a whole have too many vibrations for such a connection. And I've even had some where the connection was bad before I even flew the craft. I hook everything up, I'm testing it, and I've got one motor that won't run, or it runs and then stops, to where I have to just wire it direct anyways. I guess if you really wanted to and they didn't break these out, you could desolder this and then solder directly to one of these pads here. But let's be honest, most of us don't have that soldering ability or the tools to do it. You would definitely need a micro solder pencil, and you would likely, well, I guess you can kind of drag across this and pull this off, but the best way to do this is with a heat workstation, and I guarantee most of us do not have that. So a little bit about the tech specs. This is a 3 through 6S. It supports D-Shot 150 through 1200, multi-shot and one-shot. But we're all going to be running D-Shot 1200. So this is set inside of an 8-layer PCB. These are your standard 30.5 mounting holes. And they supply us with the rubberized gummies. As you can see, that's a 4mm hole. And the rubber gummies, my only gripe with them is they are wicked tall. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of space between the pin header and the flat of this would be your frame. So if you wanted to, if you are planning on using these broken out pins for the signal wires, I'd almost recommend removing this pin header, and that will give you a lot more space. Then we can go with a shorter gummy and really stuff this into a slam stack, mostly because a lot of frame manufacturers are starting to do that. A lot of quad builders are starting to go to the slammed quads, mostly because they look cool. Another thing that separates this ESC from all the rest is this one has a dampened light technology and a regenerative braking function. What that means is instead of just braking the motors as you're slowing down, it will actually feed back some of that power into your battery, giving you longer flight times. It's I'm actually surprised we haven't seen that sooner, but here we are, and here it is, finally. So I am very excited to get this into a build. They claim it weighs 16 grams. I just weighed this with the gummies inside of it, and this weighs 19 grams. So I don't know. It's a little bit heavier than they claim. I don't know if they weighed it without these, but I can't see these weighing an entire 3 grams. But it is what it is. It's got a constant current of 45 amps, a burst current of 55 amps, and it does support current sensing, as we saw from the top pinout. So that's a small introduction to the DALRC Rocket 45 amp 4-in-1 ESC. I'm excited to get this into a build. So if you found this video helpful, click that thumbs up button. And if you're planning on grabbing a DALRC or already own one, leave me a comment below. And if you haven't done it already, go ahead and punch that subscribe button, because you only get to do it once, and it's fun. And I'll catch you later. Peace.